Finally. HBO boinked me, man. They did the boink boink. Now I'm going to get really pissed. Now I'm really angry. Yeah, so look. Game of Thrones is cringe. It's a cringy thing to watch. I said it. It's cringe, big cringe, and there's like no... I don't really think there's any Christian morality in it. Don't let Andrew see this. If Andrew sees this, he's going to freak out. He's like the biggest Game of Thrones nerd out there. So don't show this to Andrew. But Andrew's wrong. He's incorrect factually. Factually incorrect. It's just the kind of sexually depraved content that modern people need to have to feel entertained. But it's just like devoid of life and meaning. And in the end, it was always going to suck. And this is coming from somebody who's a big fan. But I kind of saw the downfall coming. And like, it's not just about season 8. Season 8 was just, it was the catalyst of, like, people blame the writers. It wasn't the writers' fault that season 8 sucked. It was George R. R. Martin's fault for taking so long to write his next book. When the writers had material to work with, they did fine at delivering the bad story, at least to please the audience. But as soon as they didn't have material to work with, they couldn't do it. And George told them how they wanted it to end. So we have to imagine that the ending of the books is going to be the same. So it's a terrible ending, but it was always going to be a terrible ending, because if he did do a payoff, like let's say, you know, like Prince that was promised or whatever, that all came true, it wouldn't subvert the audience's expectations because they were expecting it. But it doesn't matter if you were expecting it. Like, I don't care how many times I watch Sam carry Frodo up Mount Doom, knowing it's going to happen. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, does that make it not good because I know what's going to happen? No. It's silly. And I think that novelty just wore off really quickly for me. But, you know, I was watching it at a time where I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love them. This is so cool and edgy and sweet. But it's just like, I think it destroys your virtue. I think it's bad. I think it's a show that's bad for your soul. That's how I'm gonna put that mildly. I think it's a show that's bad for your soul. I think your soul suffers when you watch Game of Thrones. I think it's like it's like, you know, it's enjoyable to watch. There's a lot of things that are enjoyable to watch that maybe you shouldn't watch, without naming the obvious, right? What's something that's enjoyable to watch that you shouldn't watch that's bad for your soul? Oh, I know this one. Yeah, you should. But it's not something you should watch. Let's just say that. Watch something that's good for your soul, something that has meaning. You know, something that sparks true inner joy. Like Game of Thrones, you feel good watching it, but afterwards you feel hollow and empty inside, because the show is hollow and empty inside. And if you watch it, you'll become hollow and empty inside. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? So if you don't want to be hollow and empty inside, don't watch Game of Thrones. That's my thesis. My opening statement. Thank you. All right, let's hear a comment. Let's hear a disagreeing comment. Who disagrees? Who wants to get absolutely intellectually annihilated with facts and truth and logic? Go ahead. I'm waiting. Myth hates GOT because Renly is gay. I mean, that's just one issue. It's not that he's gay per se, but they have to, like, it has to be so sensually I don't like any of the boink boink scenes, just so you know. But it's just not good, man. It's not good. It's bad. It's the opposite of good. On the connection between TTC and Game of Thrones, the TTC to Game of Thrones pipeline, well, actually, back in the day, we made TTC before the first Game of Thrones genre, but Game of Thrones genres kind of came along, and they were, they got really popular like a few years after we started TTC, and they kind of had our group. Like, I don't say they copied us, but because that'd be too far, but they had the same model we had, except they relied on like role playing. And the thing about these Game of Thrones genres is if you pretend, and I made a video on this channel about it, and it got a ton of views, got thousands of views. It's called How to Get a High Rank in a Game of Thrones Genre. And you literally just have to pretend to be a woman, and then you get an instant high rank. And I did it in like 10 minutes. And that's because those, like, that the problem with the genres is the same issue with the show. It's just like, it's depraved of virtue. If there's this girl in my church that I'm kind of interested in, but she's older than me. How much older? Before I get into trouble. This seems like a bait. He's baiting me. How much older? Fifth Andy, woman? Right. Back when I cross-dressed on Roblox. Proof of point. Oh, dude. Well, are you like... Yeah, it depends how old you are too, which you don't have to reveal, but like if you're, I don't know, like if you're like 10, she's 12, that's a pretty big difference. You're 16, she's 18, not as big of a difference, right? Yes, Joe, I am looking for C and C++ programmers. Thank you. Look, if you met a girl at church and you like her, that needs to be the woman you marry. Just saying. That's the spot. I think school and church, those are the best places to meet good women. You know, people are always like, "Oh, I met this girl at the club and it didn't work out." Like, it's like, yeah. Yeah, dude. I mean, it doesn't mean it won't ever work out. I'm not saying it can never work out, but like, you know, I want a girl that has good values and that you get along with. Just, we live in an age that's so goofy. You just live in a goofy age. Is that fair, chat? Is that fair that we live in a goof age? Goofy. My son is not crying in the background. Look, there are good women. You can find good women everywhere. It's not that you couldn't find a good woman at a certain spot. It's that you just, you know, you got to just be you got to have some common sense, you know? And I think I think that, yeah, anyway, look, if you found a girl at church, that's great. Now, she might not be into you because sometimes women aren't into younger men because women are often attracted to older men. They just are. It doesn't, not all of them, but, you know, women are often attracted to older men. So don't get your hopes up, but if you feel like she might like you, then great. Now, there's nothing wrong with meeting a girl that's older than you at church in a couple years and you like her. Go ask her out to a movie. You know, like that sounds like a good idea. Or if you want to interact, people say movie's not a good first date because you're not really interacting. But if you're like kind of awkward because you're like a kid, and young men are often awkward, I was for sure. Movies are not a bad spot because you don't have to talk. You kind of just share an experience, and it'll allow you to get a little more comfortable just being around a woman, which you might not be familiar with besides your mom. Oh, your mom. Boom, got him. But the truth of the matter is I think a movie is a pretty good first date. Now, I took my wife ice skating on our first date. That's also good because she'll hold your hand if you know how to ice skate. If you don't know how to ice skate, might not be good. You're 14. That's not bad. 14, 16. I mean, dude, there's a chance. This is what I would do. I would play the long game, you know, because by the time you're 18 and she's 20, the difference will be way less, and she probably won't care as much. So if you want to play like the super long tactical game, which you probably don't have the patience for, I never had the patience for it, but that's definitely the based thing to do, is just like wait it out. Like just become friends. Don't get friend zoned. Wait, is it back? Oh, okay. Damn, I don't know if it's the music. Is it because I'm too based? Dude, if I put a Christian prayer in the background, they're definitely going to take the stream down. A few years ago, they might. Look, man. I think you just gotta, just go. My advice would be go talk to this girl and just expect to get rejected and embrace it if you do get rejected. And then just get rejected 10 more times and just don't make it mean anything. And then on the 11th or 12th time, you might not get rejected. And that's really something that young men don't really understand, is it really doesn't matter when you get rejected because it's like, well, then it wasn't meant to be. Like, you just got to grow a pair and just get used to it. And if you do that, no, dude, it's the right mindset. Like, that people get too attached, and like when you're young, like you've got all this passion and love, and like you think it's like, oh, this has got to be the one because I like her and it's the first girl I liked, or it's like the 10th girl I've liked, or whatever. And it's like, dude, it just doesn't matter if she's not into you. It's just like, also, if you go in with no expectations, she'll think that's attractive. If you just don't care, like, you should care, but if you just don't make it mean anything, you just move on, that's attractive. That's confidence. Like, because you know that there's a girl out there for you. So just go find that girl. Don't, if she rejects you, then like, screw her, dude. Like, whatever. Not literally, but like, just like, who cares? Like, she's obviously, it wasn't meant to be. So just get over yourself. Really, like, get over yourself. Why am I confusing you? Because I told you. All right, let me break it down again. There's a bunch of different strategies you can employ. I basically got rejected by every woman I ever approached until I met my wife. Basically. And it didn't matter, and I'm glad I got rejected by those women, because my wife is far better than all those women. But I had to become the kind of man that a woman would be attracted to. And the person you are right now just might not be attractive to a woman. Like, you might just not have the skills or the mindset or the development to be attractive to a woman. So if you want to be attractive to a woman, go out and...
What?
We just gotta
Meet. How did you meet your wife?
How did I meet my wife, Sir Gilbert? Gotta turn this music. Thank you for the sponsor, by the way, the donation. I met my wife in school. I met my wife in a class, fascism and anti-fascism. And basically, I saw her, I thought she was cute, and she had a seat open next to her, so I went and sat down next to her. Which is a great strategy, by the way, if you want to meet a woman. You go into an environment where everybody doesn't know each other, where, everybody is sort of on the same playing field, because that's when you meet new people, right? And so if you go sit by a girl, she doesn't necessarily think that you're coming on to her, and you can essentially sit by her and get away with it and not be like a creep or something. And then, you start studying with her or whatever, you ask her to lunch, whatever it is. And that's a really solid strategy. Now, church is good too. So you could do the same thing at church. If you go to church and you find a girl that doesn't have anybody sitting next to them, or, maybe she's with her brother or whatever, just go sit by him, introduce yourself, and just make friends. Don't put pressure on it. And you're going to have to do, you might, the first 10 times you do this, you might suck at it. So don't put a lot of pressure on the first one. Because you're going to be awkward, and, you're not going to know what to say, and you're probably going to sit there and be like, oh, I don't know, I like trains or whatever. Oh, have you ever played TTC? Don't say that. Don't bring up TTC. And then, but if you do that 10 times, by the 11th time, you actually, you might have some confidence. You might, if you didn't take it personally, you might have some confidence. But if you took it personally, I have some confidence. So I met my wife in class. I got her number, and we just started talking about music. We both liked vinyls. We were both kind of hipsters at the time, I guess. So we both liked old music, 60s, 70s music. So we just talked about that. And then I just rizzed her up. But if that had been 5 years earlier, I don't know if I would have had the skill set. But I did, because I had been used to being rejected at that point. And I didn't take it personally. I just, So I saw her, I sat next to her, and then we went Chipotle, and then we took her ice skating, and we hit it off. It wasn't the courting period wasn't that long. We just started dating, and the rest is history. And now Mythan Baby is here. But I essentially, when I turned 18, I decided I'm just going to go cultivate, what are skills that would be attractive to a woman? Okay, women like people who play guitar. I'm going to teach myself how to play guitar. Okay, and then women like people who play sports. Okay, I'm going to go play sports. Women like people who are in shape. Men who are in shape. Okay, I'm going to go get in shape. And then women like people who are educated. So I'm going to read every day, and I'm going to cultivate skills. So I'm intelligent, and I know what I'm talking about, and I have like well thought out thoughts, and I can articulate myself. And then over the course of 1, 2, 3 years, you just start to build up this pretty goated, like you just become a goat. You just become a legend. Like it, but you do what you want to do, like, and make sure that it's not like playing League of Legends in your basement for 8 hours straight. Like, no one cares about like what your League of Legends rank is. Women don't care about that. I'm just sorry, they just generally don't. But they want to see that. They want to see that, like, women are vetting you, that you'll be a good father, that you'll be a good husband. They're thinking long term constantly. So go, like, that you have skills, that you're strong enough to protect them, all these things. So if you don't have those skills, you're not going to be as attractive to them. We can storm the Seljuks together. No, don't storm the Seljuk. Join the Seljuks. All this doesn't apply. If you ask her to join Seljuk, she will date you instantly. That's the difference. Are you loyal? Yes, I have. Oh, this is good. I was trying to rant about Game of Thrones, guys, but that's okay. I love talking about this stuff. Happy to do it. So, I don't know where my... Just a monkey. Does that answer your question? So I met my van wife in school, in university. Yes, her name is Mythan Wife. 100%. Welcome, son. Oh, and don't watch Game of Thrones if you want to get a woman. Don't watch Game of Thrones. All that sexually perverted nonsense is not going to help you. You're probably going to be a freaking creep, and it's just not good. Like, just, Also, never apologize for being interested in virtuous things. If she's like, oh, you go to church and do all this stuff, and like, she's not for you. Like, if she can't accept that, like, she doesn't have to be on the same page as you, but if she's not accepting of it, then they filter themselves out. They will self-eliminate. And then when they self-eliminate, instead of you feeling rejected, just say good. Like, good. I don't want to be with somebody that doesn't value this or that, or, whatever the reason is, it wasn't going to work out. What are you going to cry over it? Probably. But once you're done crying over it, it's like, just move on, dude. Like, move on. And, oh no, what did I just do? Yeah, move on and go back to the shop. Like go grind. Like you guys are willing to grind for like 18 hours a day to get a Woot's weapon. Like, just do the same thing on yourself, like to build up your own personal skills and do things that you think would be valuable. Make yourself a more impressive human being. And that's like, you're going to judge your like, that's going to be your own metric that's judged by. So it's not like, you don't have to do the things I said, like whatever, There are some things I wouldn't recommend you do, like I said. But there's plenty of things that you can cultivate within yourself that a woman would be attracted to, and different women are going to be attracted to different things. I just think there are general rules that you can follow that will give you a better chance than not. No, the genre is not dating friendly, and your first girlfriend should not be an online girlfriend. You should not online date. That's not real. And you're going to get scammed and catfish, and it's going to be terrible. And look, it's just not a good idea. E-dating is just not a good idea. Now, some people, they like meet their like wife or whatever from, oh, I played Roblox with her for 10 years. And it's like, okay, but for every person, like, that's great. And I know people like that, and they're happy, and I'm friends with them, and that's awesome. For every one of those, there's going to be like 50 million people who get catfished or it doesn't work out because it's not real. It's virtual. Like, you need to know people. You need to meet people. It needs to be real. So if it's not real, then that's not good. By the way, you don't have to hide things from them either. Don't hide that you're into Roblox or that you play TTC or whatever. It's just like, don't make that your only part of your personality. Like, I'm a huge nerd, but I'm also like, I work out 2 hours a day, and I read, and I do other things, and like I watch sports, and so like I'm not. You can't just put me into one simple box. Like, I'll watch StarCraft. Like, I'm a nerd. Like, I'll watch StarCraft tournaments for like 8 hours a day when it's the World Championship. And my wife, it's not like my wife likes it or doesn't like it. It's like me. But I also take out the trash, and I'm like, I don't whine about doing chores, and like that's, you just gotta become a man. You just gotta man up, and just like, the earlier you man up and just start doing things that you need to do, that you know you need to do, but you've been putting off because it's hard, or, you know, it's like working out's hard. It's not easy to work out, right? But the sooner that you, I mean, I think exercise is actually one, like, I don't think there are many universals that go across the board, but I do think that you need to find some form of body movement, exercise. If you're not moving around and like using your God-given body to do activities like every day that make you sweat and like give you endorphin releases, you're going to be a pretty miserable person. You're going to be in bad shape. Like, you're going to be unhappy because none of our ancestors were sitting around. None of them. Unless they were literally disabled, which is, you know, obviously some percentage of them. But none of them were sitting around, and none of them were idle for as much time as we are. We're just not evolved to be idle for most of the day. So you got to get up. You got to move around. Martial arts is good. Books about programming. Yeah, I read a book about programming. It was called, I forget it, but they're good general rule books about programming, but I'm honestly not that good of a programmer. That's one of the things I did teach myself how to do during that period, by the way, is I taught myself how to be a programmer. And yes, it was helpful for growing my own skill set. It's not necessarily something I think women would be attracted to. Not. It's just, you know, it's like something you can do. Well, I learned Lua first for Roblox. I don't really know any other. I know I've worked with TypeScript. I need to learn C++ myself. I haven't been doing the programming on Reforge, so I haven't needed to yet. None of my ancestors were Antiochans. Do that genetic test. Do that genetic test. That's a good point, Caleb. There are so many women out there that would just take a man who's just like a halfway decent dude that like isn't a complete egomaniac and takes care of themselves. Like there are women who it'll be easy for you once you do those things. I don't know, like reading books are one way to learn programming, but also I feel like you could work with ChatGPT too, and just like the thing that made me learn the most was just reverse engineering it. I just look at code, try to make it do something else, like see how it worked, like take code from other places, try to see if it would work. I just did that over and over again. I do not know assembly. That really... I'm just not like I'm not even familiar with a lot of these terms, dude. I'm like a ghetto pro. I don't like, please don't come to me like there are so many people who could give you better programming advice than me. I'll do my best because I'm not like a novice, but I kind of am a novice. And I think somewhere at some point like 40% of Lionheart's code was written by me, which is probably why it's so buggy and bad. But like I wrote a lot of it. And like when I wanted to do something and I didn't want to wait for somebody else to make it, I would just go make it because I was like too impatient to wait for somebody. And I would really enjoy it. But like I'm not like god tier programmer. Like I'm just not, and like no one should expect that from me. It's just not what I like. I do front end stuff more than back end stuff. Like I'm better at like making UI and things, but code the mobile controls again. See, like you just wouldn't want me doing that stuff necessarily. Yeah, I'm not bad, but just gotta. Why is this? This is so dumb. Is it too? No. There we go. Dude, the best thing you can do, like Roblox is a good place to learn how to just mess around with stuff. But Lua is, I don't know if Lua is the best starting lane. What I've gleamed. Dude, you're probably a better programmer than me. You're making a website to like exploit like vulnerabilities and stuff. Like I should be asking you questions, not the other not the other way around, dude. The way I do things, like this is how I figured out how to build too. Like I just mess with things. I don't like reading. I don't like learning from instructions. I just figure shit out. Like I will do something for 10,000 hours until I figure it out. And if I like it, if I don't like it, I won't spend time on it. But if I like something, I'll just do it for like ungodly amount of time until I become good at it. I was not a good builder when I started. I was terrible. Bad. But over time, I've gotten okay at it because just mess around with stuff. But I'm still not like, not even a level designer. I'm a builder. I'm good at building structures, like big, I'm doing like the math and stuff, and like making things symmetrical. Then somebody else can come do and then like fill it with like boxes and crates and stuff. Like I'm not really good at making things feel lived in. Nothing really, dude. You don't need plugins for building. The only one I use is Build Edit, which allows you to do that pattern tool. But that's the only thing I use it for. Otherwise, I don't really use plugins because a lot of them cause issues. Oh man, what is going on? You can use the align tool on F3X, but if you build with increments, you don't need it. You don't need it most of the time. Even this plugin is fucking with these pivots. I mean, I do put my soul into it. I just... I don't know. I'm weird. Like, I'm just good at specific things. And I don't... It's not like I couldn't do the other stuff. I just don't. I'm good at big picture stuff. I'm not as good at small picture stuff. If that makes sense. So that's my explanation. That's my explanation for you, sir. Like, if you look at the city of Acker, the way it's built, it's like all on a grid. It's like a puzzle piece. It just fits together beautifully. It's like super organized. That's what I'm good at. But I'm not like good at making something feel like I would not be good at 3D modeling a tree, for example. Like, that's just not. I'm sure I could figure it out. I'd be better than a lot of people because I've spent so much time doing spatial visualization, but that's just not my, it's not my expertise. No, I don't use Archimedes. I just use the pattern tool because you can make arches with pattern tool. If you want to use Archimedes, great. I mean, it's fine. Use it. I just don't. Never really. I mean, you can use Archimedes. I've never felt like I needed it. But I'm sure there's been times where probably should have used it. Plugins were a lot more necessary back in the day when you couldn't even rotate a brick other than 90 degrees. Back in like 2012 when you built, they didn't have a rotate tool. And so you needed to use like C-framing tools to like make something. Nice, okay. Thank you for the recommendation. I check it out. If I even start to do programming. Before. I don't know if what happened to the screen? Not again. Dude, what is going on with streams today? Is YouTube dying? HBO's pissed. Well, I guess now it's really a podcast. It was a Yap session, but now it's a podcast for sure. I don't know what to do, guys. Maybe Maybe somebody can look up a debug for me. I should invite some Mortem. What is going on? No. Hardware Excel. I have to restart if I. I'd have to do that anyway. I can't do that without restarting.